14 children in the UK, born in my presence. 6 children in the US, born in my presence. And I supervised and documented all the changes that occurred in their lives, both social, mental, anatomical, until they turned 22. So it took me 22 years of sitting with them, traveling almost every 2 months to document the changes. Now the reason I did these 3 continents was to find out if the situation was different for the black man as it was for the European, and if it is also different for people who reside in the US. And I got to discover that everybody is exactly the same. Everybody. Regardless of where you were born, the opportunities are exactly the same. The power of creativity is exactly the same. Nobody is superior to the other just because of the color of their skin. And just because you speak English does not make you more superior than a person that speaks pidgin English. Because genius is not what you do, it's who you are. So ladies and gentlemen, within the period of this research, I came to the conclusion that there are 10 phases in life. 10. The first phase is the one we've already handled, preconception. The second phase is the one we've already handled, conception. The third phase begins from when the person is born until he turns 2 years old. The next phase is from the age of 2 to the age of 12. From there on, the miracle begins to happen. The next phase is from 13 to 19. And then followed by the next phase, which is from 20 to 29. The next phase is from 30 to 39, then 40 to 49. And I'm sorry for those of you that are 50 and above, I'm not going to discuss you today because of the demography that I am dealing with here on campus. So I'm going to focus my attention on 13 to 19 and 20 to 29 and then 30 to 40. Now, along the line, I may, just mention 50, 60, 70, and 80, just by the way. However, every information and much more are contained in the book, Destiny, the 10 Phases of Life. Can I have the books, please? Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the next phase of life, after a person has been born, it will amaze you to know that whenever a star comes into this world, within the first 2 years, that's when everybody tries everything to eliminate them. So between the age of 0 to age 2, there's always a battle. Whatever entities they are that are against human existence will do everything to locate the star, the light that these special people carry. When I say special, it does not mean that others are not. It just simply means that that particular person is the connector of past and future. Because destiny is like a chain. It's a chain. One ring connects with the other. One ring connects with the other. When there's a weak link, then you have a situation. So when these stars come, they are the strongest link and they form the bond between the past and the future so that there is no breakage in the purpose that has been destined for each other person. And you will discover this is the reason when Moses was born. Pharaoh seeking for him. And after they had checked, they discovered that Moses was about to cross from age 2 into age 3. Because the moment an entity or a person crosses into age 3, he actually goes into what is called general population. He cannot be seen anymore until he appears later. Now, to eliminate such threats, you need to deal with them before they cross into general population, which is age 3. So Moses was sought for, and every child between the age of 2 down was killed, because they were looking for just one person. And when Jesus Christ was also born, it was discovered that he was about to cross from age 2 into age 3. And Herod made a decree that children from the age of 2 down must be eliminated. Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what is happening globally, and especially right here in our country. When a person is born that is about to bring emancipation to a people, we will always hear is an eradication of children. And I want to let you know that the fact that you have crossed into general population, it means that you have blended with the people that you are designed to help, the people you are designed to save. Unfortunately for us, because our eyes have been taken off who we are, we've now destroyed our destinies using our mouth. Until God said to Jeremiah, after Jeremiah retorted and said, God, I am a little boy, I'm a child, I cannot speak, I cannot do this thing that you have said I can do. Can you imagine a building talking to the architect and saying, Mr. Architect, I don't have the ability to perform the task that you have built me for. And that's exactly what we do. We sit down in our moment of peacefulness, we sit down in our moment of depression, and we use our mouth. Because of tiny little challenges that we face, we use our mouth to destroy our destinies. And we say, well, concerning me, there's no hope, nothing works. Ladies and gentlemen, this has nothing to do with religion. This has to do with humanity. Human beings by themselves use their power of creativity to destroy their destinies. And my hope is that at the end of this lecture, you would have been able to discover who you are, and also what to be able to do to get yourself back on track. So nobody can ordain. No man has the power to ordain another man. It's God that ordains. A man has the ability to say, I can see what God has designed in you. Come, we'll give you a mentor. And that's what we call ordination in human terminology. But God has already done the ordination. The next phase comes from age 3, from age 2 to 12. And what happens there? Let's jump from this pedestal and do what I usually like to do with my students, and that is to look at them eyeball to eyeball and have a chat. So if you don't mind, permit this guy to join you. When a person, a child, between the age of 3 or 2 and 12 comes to you, there is only one thing that he knows how to do, and that is to ask questions. So I call that phase the phase of questions. What does he do? He walks up to you and he says, Daddy, what is this? And you say, oh, it is shoe. And he says to you, oh, what is shoe? And you say shoe is a device that, and he will ask you, what is a device? Now at that moment, we the elderly ones, we get angry, we get upset, and we put at their foreheads, get out of here. Is it all the questions you know how to ask? You know, questions, oh man, I suffered that with my mother. But listen to me, those questions are necessary because they are new arrivals. They have just come and they see things that they want to know about. So they need to ask you because they want to gather data, information about the world. They don't ask anything about themselves. No. All they're concerned about is the environment, the things they see, the things they touch. And these are the things they keep asking. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody will want to ask, what then is age? I've heard so many philosophers say, age is just a number. Have you heard that before? Yes. Age is just a number. It's most likely you've also used it. You know, come on now, it doesn't matter, age is a number. Well, sorry, age is not just a number. Age is an automatic switch that turns on certain hormones in your body and turns on certain behaviors that unless you get to that age, you don't have the capacity to carry out the assignment. So the moment you cross into the age 3, it's a switch. Whether you like it or not, whether you're prepared for it or not, it is totally inconsequential. The switch is turned on. And that is the reason you will hear philosophers say, time waits for no one. Because time waits for no one. It is acting on its own. It has its own assignment. It is now left for the entity, the person, to be able to discover what's going on in life and in time, to be able to engage with the ultimate, which is destiny. So ladies and gentlemen, when you ask a child between the age of 2 and 12, what would you want to be when you grow up? They will tell you, I don't know. The best they can tell you is, I want to be like uncle. I want to be like, and you ask them, why? I said, what? Oh, have you seen this before? Yes. They don't say anything because they have no why. Because they don't have any sense of the future. All they know is there's someone they admire, and so they just want to be like that person. But ladies and gentlemen, little is known that even the Lord Jesus Christ himself at the age of 12 was actually asking questions. Now isn't that amazing? That the person credited to creating life himself, when he decided to come into humanity, he had to follow the protocol. He couldn't break the protocol. So he was found in the temple also asking questions. But in his own case, he was also answering their questions, because he was the bridge between the past and the future. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you cross into the next phase, 13 to 19, everything changes. You now enter into the territory that we refer to as visions and dreams. Visions and dreams. In the phase of vision and dreams, that is when your talent begins to explode. That's when your abilities begin to pop up. Teenagers are so crazy. Teenagers think that the world begins and ends with them. Because I tell you, as far as they are concerned, every energy, every ability comes alive within your teenage. Between 13 and 19 is an amazing time. And unfortunately, this is the age bracket that no nation has plans for. These are the people that we're supposed to, face and give them all the necessary equipment so that they can execute and solve the problems that we have in society. Unfortunately, these are the same people that are the neglected ones. You can take example. Look at your university. Look at your university. I'm not sure that there is any university that is as funded as it should be. Because nobody cares. Nobody cares about the teenage, and nobody cares about the 20 age. The worst advice you will ever hear from a parent or from a guardian to his child is this: don't worry, when you grow up, you will know. Why does he have to grow up to know what you have failed in? You're supposed to tell him your failures so that he does not repeat them. But a lot of us, have this ego. And we begin to brag to our own child. Your own child? You came last in school for God's sake. So you just tell him, son, when I was your age, I couldn't do better. That will encourage your boy. Because you know, oh wow. No, but you know what we do? Spanking. Tuck out. When I was your age, when I was your age, we don't blow our trumpet. Hold on. Very soon your son will discover. Now, why tell your child, wait? When you grow up, you will discover. What I love about the women folk is that they never spare the moment. The women will always tell their children, their daughters. Now please, I hope you know that this is a research. I hope you know that I'm speaking from facts. Scientifically documented facts. I'm not bringing out my own ideas. No, this is coming from 30 years of being with children from different continents and documenting their relationship with their parents. In the teenage, the girl child has already gone through the process of knowing how to cater for the house. While what is going on, boys, especially in Nigeria, are busy jumping from mango tree to mango tree. Jumping from street to street. Playing football. But the girl child is sitting down outside with a makeshift kettle, a makeshift stove made of 3 stones, and she has arranged these sticks and cut off some wild grasses, put them into a container. We call them gungoni, right? Okay. They cut everything and put it inside and pretend to be blowing the coals. And give it a few minutes. The soup is done. And they take out of it, and before you know it, they go here. They never put it in their mouth because they know that it's not an experiment. But they are learning. They are learning. While they are learning, unfortunately, those that are predominantly masculine, who are supposed to be the ones leading the society, are busy destroying their minds. Empty, nothing. The baby child does not know how to even wash his stockings. I've discovered that boys don't know how to wash their underwears. And I've also discovered that ladies do it every night. Scientific fact. I documented it. ladies and gentlemen, what a girl child discovers at the age of 15, it will take a boy the age of 26. Did you hear me say the research? Good, so it means it is a fact. So when you want to compare the brilliance and the management abilities of the genders, the girl child is more established. So here I come to your department. I was going to ask you, when you were introduced to me, I was like, okay, are you gender control, you know? But I understand. Ladies and gentlemen, teenagers have what we call language trait. Just like the teenagers have a language trait which is questions, the teenagers also have their own language. And listen to some of them. I know what I'm doing. Don't treat me like a child. I'm not a child. Does that sound familiar? Yes, mommy. Yes, mommy. I want you to go over there. Mommy. Stop. You know why she's given command? It's because suddenly she discovers 2 pyramids growing on her chest. And so she thinks she's equal to the mother. Because the mother now has, nothing different from her. So, mommy, you got this, and I'll get it. You got this, I got it. But the one thing that terrifies them is that suddenly there's a gushing of blood that comes out of the girl child, and she gets very scared. When it happens the first time, she's like, oh my God, am I going to bleed to death? Am I going to bleed to death? Then she rushes to her mother, and she says, mommy, mommy, mommy. And when she tells the mother, hear what the mother says. It means, don't let any boy touch you. And thank you, sir. And you know what happens? The girl now takes that literally, and they become enemies to boys. That's the reason teenage girls are so protective, because they function by the law, thou shalt not touch. So you have a girl child that is seriously protecting herself just from a touch. They have this mentality driven in them that the moment you are touched, you get pregnant. But the interesting thing is that at that same teenage phase, that is when every muscle in the boy, every NEPA station is turned on. The boy wakes up in the morning, does not know what's happening, but he just discovers that thing in front of him is. And not that he was thinking about sex or anything. No, it's a switch. It's automatic. It happens. And then sometimes they don't know what to do about it. And you find boys looking for anything possible just to kneel down. Until finally, cold water has dampened that aspect of their emotion. And they are not able to stand up. They come out. That's why boys wear boxers. But they need something strong to protect their integrity. If not, for God's sake, you're walking and then something is walking ahead of you. Does it make sense? Why don't you get identified by something in front? No, But ladies and gentlemen, that's a teenage for you. In the teenager feels he knows everything, that he has nothing to learn from anybody. It will interest you to know that it is at the same teenage that dreams, visions are born. It is at that same age, that same phase, that people begin to see their future. Let me be honest with you, the research has proved it. But whatever you are now, you actually saw it when you were a teenager. You desired it when you were a teenager. But in case you are not there yet, it means that you changed your desire because you saw somebody else that you wish you could be like, and so you destroyed your destiny. So I will say this: don't ever desire to be somebody else. My elder brother was such an interesting fellow. You can imagine a person that knows the Bible in and inside out. Believe me, it's as if he was a co-author of the Bible. Now, he was a class ahead of me while we were in secondary school. I didn't go to a regular secondary school. But they kept changing my school until my father stood up and said, "Leave him here." Form 1 was in one school. I was transferred to do my Form 2 in another school. My Form 3 was in a different school. In Form 4, I was sent to Japan. My father said, "Bring him back." My father said to my principal in the technical school, Suwa Zaria, he said to him, "Mr. Hoffman, if you leave my boy to go to Japan, he's not going to be an engineer. He will come back as a musician." I saw my future. Unfortunately for me, my father saw it too. Now this is the reason no teenager should brag. You know, sometimes teenagers do things and they think they're smarter than their parents, right? Your father has crossed that hurdle. Your father is a more dangerous crook than you are. So he knows everything. So sometimes we think, no, we can outdo our parents. No way. If you ever see your father keeping quiet, it's because they have corrected you and you did not yield. So now go learn by experience. And when the fire burns you, you'll say, "I told you before." So the teenage, it is exactly at the teenage that Joseph, in Genesis 37, had his dreams and visions. But ladies and gentlemen, the fact that you are able to dream does not mean that that's the season for the dream to come to manifestation. David was anointed at 16 to be the king, the next king of Israel. And I'm glad that he did not rush. But what we have today are a bunch of Russians who are rushing to fulfill what is about 14 years ahead of them. If you jump the gun, trust my research, if you jump the gun, you will end up being 30 years of age with the mentality of a 17-year-old. And that is what happens when people try to become their future when they are still here. Try to utilize your energy. The same energy that gives you the vision, the same energy will keep you until you wait for the season. Because there's a right season for everything. There's a right season for everything. It will be stupidity for a father to carry his car keys and hand it over to his 12-year-old and say, "Son, this is your birthday gift. Now you know that the season is wrong." Ladies and gentlemen, the teenage is such an amazing period. That is when dreams, ideas begin to pop up. But the unfortunate thing for us as parents is that is when we also silence our children. We take a look at our children trying to do exploits and we say, shut up. Instead of asking them, what are you really doing? What's in your mind? Tell me. If I tell you my story, you'll be amazed. I came back from school one day. I was in primary school, class 2 primary school. I went to an American school called the Second Baptist School in Zaria, and I was taught by Americans. So I knew America before I got to America. I got back from school one day, class 2, and my father took a look at my face and he asked me a question. Son, are you okay? I said, yes, sir. Are you really okay? Yes, sir. I said, if you're okay, why are you looking so gloomy? And my father asked me a question out of the blues. It does not make sense. And he said, do you have a friend in your school? I said, yeah, of course, you know. And I mentioned a couple of boys that my friends. And he said, no. Do you have a girl that is your friend? A special friend? And I did this. And he said, do you? Very special friend? I said, yes, sir. And he asked me, have you told her? Oh, Lord. The kind of fear that descended on me. It was such a terrible fear. Please, I was in class 2. So I must have been somewhere around age 9. Because you know, in our day, you have to do this. So the hand has to cross. And God help you if you were as short as I was. My mates went before me, so some of mine came from behind. So my father asked me, have you told her? That was the scariest moment in my life. And so I said, no. I said, tell her that she's special to you. I couldn't understand it. You know, every muscle in my chest was like, you know, everything there was confusion. And he said to me, well, you can write if you can talk. Because my father, of course, knowing me, knew that I wasn't a talking type. And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't talk. I wasn't a talking person. If you listen to my music, you will know that this man does not talk. It's just by the grace of God that recently I started talking. And the reason I started talking was because my father died, my elder brother died, so I became the head. And so with my taekwondo, I have to defend the family, so it means I have to talk. But the taekwondo starts with the mouth. So my father said to me, if you cannot speak, you can write. He said to me, go get your exercise book. I brought the exercise book. He said, remove the needle. I'm serious. And I tore out the middle page. And he said, write. Class 2. What do I write? He said, tell her how you feel. So I said, dear, I won't call the name. I'll give you the first name, but you know, so, dear Mary, I would like you to be my special friend. Will you be my special friend? P. We were already told and taught how to fold the same paper into an envelope. So I folded it, and it was her name. She was seated just one aisle away from me. We were sharing desks. So two of us, I sat here, there's a space, and then she's the next. You needed to see the lightning speed with which I delivered the name. DHL couldn't do that. While everybody was focused on it, I got there. And you know, opened the thing. Oh God of heaven. You needed to see the smile. And at that point I was like, oh God, why did I do this? Why did I do this? You know, then we went out on break. Guess what? Just to, you know, agree with my, you know, request. She bought Tom and gave me. That means I agree. You know, I got back home. It was such a moment of change. Ladies and gentlemen, my father had time for me. He sat with me and taught me how to identify a wife's material from her laughter. My father taught me this from the age of 8 until I became 19. I left secondary school at 19. I wanted to copy my father and do to my children. My father never missed one night from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. He was with me for 19 years. Never failing one night. And that's why I turned out to be the person that I is today. Today, parents, we don't care. We don't bloody care. You know, we're so busy pretending that we're working for our children, not realizing that we're destroying the child. All the child needs is your time and your answers. He wants to hear your stories. And my father was a storyteller. And I'm so glad that even though we fell apart for 19 years, but we still made up. And I'm so glad that he taught me as he did. Ladies and gentlemen, the teenage is when everybody conceives his future. The unfortunate thing is we never have time to prepare. So the next phase of life is the phase of apprenticeship. Once you cross into 20, you become an apprentice. It does not matter how intelligent you are, you need a mentor. That mentor can be your father biologically, or it can be someone in the same profession or field or dream that you hope to be. Unfortunately, the school system today does not help. We lump everybody and test them in just two things: mathematics and English. As if everybody was born to think in the abstract. Mathematics is the gift of abstract. There are some of us that have the gift of logic, and some that have the gift of physics. Others have pictorial gift, the gift of pictures. A few years ago, well, not a few, you know, somewhere around 25 years ago, there were these two boys, there were these two young men. They had just crossed over into class 4, primary school. And two Igbo boys on Delivery Street in Jos. Now Delivery Street was where you had, you know, the Igbo chaps selling their spare parts. And so these two boys had just been taught division and multiplication and all of that. So on their way back from school to their father's shops, they started asking each other questions, trying each other. So I would ask the question, Prof would respond. Prof would ask the question, I would respond. So they kept going like that until it came to the point of, or the time for Ikemefuna to give an answer. And he was asked by his friend, Ikemefuna, 20 divided by 5. Ikemefuna could not answer. 20 divided by 5. Ikemefuna could not answer. As they got to the shop, this boy announced the debate going on. And as I see Ikemefuna, he could not answer 20 divided by 5. Ikemefuna had pressure. It got right here. Because at that point, by the time they got to their shop, every other person has heard the story. But the Imefuna's father was about 2 streets away, eating lunch in a buka. And someone went and told him, I was there because I was there to buy spare parts for my own car. And so someone went and reported, hey, Papa Imefuna, you're just wasting your money. We told you, this your boy, this your boy. His head is like coconut. There's nothing there. He's a dog. You're sending him to school, just wasting your money. And the father said, Mike Imefuna, I know why I put it in my shop. Papa Imefuna left and came hurriedly to his shop. Here were people gathered. No sales anymore. Everybody was just waiting to see what would come out of Imefuna's mouth. And if Imefuna had attempted talking, he would have busted into tears. But he just kept himself. His father arrived. Imefuna, 20 divided by 5. Imefuna could not answer. The father, Imefuna, 20 naira divided by 5. Imefuna said 4 now. Now listen to me and listen well. Imefuna was not gifted with abstract. He was gifted with picture. He does everything according to pictures. What he sees is exactly what he stores. So you cannot be testing people like in this university on the same indices when everybody is totally different. Let me tell you the truth. I've discovered from my research that everybody was born a genius. Everybody is born a genius. The reason our genius does not show is because we are being tested outside our natural abilities. Test a man in the area of his talent and you will see that that man is a genius. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a teenage for you. The next phase of life is the phase of apprenticeship. And this is where we miss it. Because we think that just because we have crossed the dreams and vision era, that we're now entering into the dreams we saw. No, there's always preparation. And you have to prepare. The age 20 to 29 is very crucial. And that's where a lot of us miss it. Do you know that I discovered that actually a lot of us marry out of season? I got married at 25. I don't know all the other boys. The Eagles are kind of wiser. I grew up with them, so permit me, right? They're kind of wiser. They don't rush into marriage. They say, I have to settle down. And it is very important to settle down. Because if you marry in your 20s, you cannot prepare in 29. You will have accident in your destiny. Because destiny is unlocked at the age of 30. So marriage can actually destroy your vision. Because we marry out of sin. Hey, my wife, I call her my royal girlfriend. She's soft on the one just by it. No, I'm serious. So I'm like, what is this? What is that? Because I was not stationary. I resigned my appointment as the chief engineer in Radio Elwa in Jos. So I was now working in Enugu, working with 2 companies, Godhead Recording Company and Wilson's. I will leave Jos and go to Enugu for 3 weeks, come back home the 4th week and spend weekend and deliver the money. By Monday, son of man is gone. It's as if she married a ghost. Only phone was joining us together. If you didn't have line, then forget it. You communicate in the spirit. Husband, how are you? And you say, wife, can you hear me? Today you have cellular phones. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason great people don't marry early. Because if you marry before you enter your destiny, the tendency is that age 30 will be destroyed. But when you marry, when you have already entered age 30, then the finality of it is that you will actually succeed. Now, please, don't think it is, automatic. So now you get to delay. You don't marry until you're 40. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a research and it is set to facts. I discovered that Isaac married at 40. Jacob married at 40. That's why nobody could stop their destiny. Jesus, as against Da Vinci Code of Mr. Da Vinci. Da Vinci said that Jesus got married and gave birth to natural children. Excuse me? No, Jesus was not of marriage age because marriage was at 40 and Jesus died at 33. So nobody can lie against it. Are you getting that? So there are scientific facts to prove a lot of this theories or theorems that we are propounding. But I want to let you know that whatever you dream, don't rush. Take your time to train from age 20 to 29 because destiny is about to knock on your door. Age 30 is coming. Age 30 is coming. At the age of 29, Jesus Christ attended the wedding of one of his uncles. And then they ran out of wine. And his mother, knowing that this boy had been performing stunts at home, said to him, G, what was witchcraft? G. And you could imagine Jesus at 29 telling him, yes, Mom, what again? Now, can't you see that the wine has run out to your uncle's party, things like that? I said, Mommy, what have I got to do with it? The mother then instructed some boys and said, follow him. Whatever he tells you, do. What was witchcraft? But here is what the Lord Jesus said to his mother, my time has not yet come. But the next chapter says, and Jesus began when he was nearing 30. It is recorded, the age was put there. If this is God in human flesh, how come he couldn't do certain things out of age? He had to be in season because he was also human. And he came to show us how humanity should be lived. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment he was turning 30, he began. Joseph, what he saw at 17, once he was 30, it was recorded, he stood before Pharaoh and he took over the whole of Egypt. David, what he saw at 16, what was anointed for at 16, he did not become until he was exactly 30. Ladies and gentlemen, your 30 is coming. 30 is the season where you focus to fulfill your life. Destiny, that is the place where whatever was in the mind of the Creator for making you, that is when you enter into it. Not necessarily that's when you accomplish it, but that's when the switch is turned on and you enter into it. You still have a lot of time to go. But ladies and gentlemen, that phase is delicate. That phase is filled with distractions. There are lots and lots of distractions. Financial distractions, sexual distractions, all kinds of distractions. Peer pressure does not happen in teenage, as much as it does in your 30s. That's when you have serious pressure. Because everybody around you appears to be succeeding, but you are not. And you begin to think, what do I do? What do I do? I've received countless letters of young people who all they want to do is end their lives. Suicide, suicide. A young lady said to me, must I die without children? Just because she was in her 30s. I'm not married. Nobody has come to me. I'm going to sleep with any man just to have my own child. I said, really? Well, get ready to explain to the child in the future where his father went to. Because every child will want to relate with his father. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 is very delicate. If you don't prepare, by the time you enter 30, you will have nothing. The reason superstars die before they are 60 is that what they are supposed to accomplish at 60 is finished in their 20s. So there's nothing more to live for. Life becomes very frustrating. This is the reason you should not rush into success. Because once you rush into success and become in your 30s what you should be in your 60s, death is knocking on the door. Is it a physical death or mental death? Because your creativity runs out and you have nothing else to do. That's why I love slow and steady wins the race. I'm never in a rush. Never in a rush. I learned this from my father. My father died at the age of 94. He was still talking with me. At 70, I still look 50. Which is cool. I told you I was going to take off my glasses. So you know that I don't need glasses to read. It's not photochromic. I like it because it makes me look younger. But I tell you the truth. Do you know that the prodigal son left home when he was a teenager? Because he saw his future and thought, it is now. And went to his father and said, give me. Now, listen to me and listen well. That is the language trait of teenagers. A person can be 50 years of age, but you listen to them, listen to them. If you hear someone telling you, give me, he might be 50 biologically, but he's a teenager. Uncle, give me. That's a teenager. Teenagers think that they have every right. Is it right? They don't have courtesy. Hello, Daddy. Please, may I? No, it doesn't exist in their vocabulary. I know. Daddy, give me. So the prodigal son went to his father and said, give me my inheritance. Your father needs to die before you collect inheritance. This guy must be stupid. If he was probably given the privilege, he would have killed his father. Say, give me, give me. The father gave him. And when you listen to that story, when you read it, you'll actually think that it took only 2 weeks for him to go spend everything and he came back. You will think, it was just 2 weeks. Until you hear 70s, pardon me, but you can get it in the book. And if you happen to be 80, my apologies. You will find it in the book. But ladies and gentlemen, I have good news. And the good news is this. That all the years that the cankerworm, the caterpillar, the palmer worm, and the locust have eaten shall be restored. So there is a system of restoration. Nobody can restore, only the manufacturer. I call it the God factor. That's what I refer to as the G factor. In the G factor, you need the creator. That's where you you need to go back and ask yourself, how did I get here? Why am I here? Without the G factor, no one can reveal to you your destiny, and no one can restore what you have lost. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the King, the Restorer, the one who can take a life that has been messed up and recondition it. Not just recondition it like a Panam Peter would do. No, he is Mr. Toyota. When your Toyota car has a problem, if you take it to a mechanic, with a Panam Peter, you take it back to Mr. Toyota, you'll get a brand new. I remember picking up a new car, the Nissan. And just about a year later, they have manufactured a new, an upgrade. And they said to me, Dr. B, can you send back the one the one we bought, or we'll give you a new one? But you don't need to add, so I said, I'm a wise guy. Instead of adding for another car, I better use the money to be a blessing to somebody else. Ladies and gentlemen, once you cross 40, which is wisdom, which is the season of stability, that's the season of consolidation. All your dreams, all your businesses get consolidated because 50 is coming. Once you enter 50, you never think about yourself anymore. The age of 50 is for your children and the next generation. So if you're a 50-year-old and suddenly you discover that you're beginning to dress anyhow, you know, the 50-year-olds don't care how they dress. You know. Let's go to the pocket. Hold on. You just carry everything new. Let's go. Now the 50-year-old. In your 50s, your children come first. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll beg to stop here.
Thank you, sir.
And I present to you Destiny, the 10 phases of life. The research project went to 22 years to put together. The remaining 8 years to fine tune. This is hardcover. I think we have paperback. This hardcover is supposed to go for 10,000. But because I love you and I want everybody to have it, you have it at 50%, 5,000. Thank you, sir. And once again, to my chief host, thank you, Prophet. Thank you for opening your heart and taking the risk of bringing someone like me into this place. And I hope you take the risk next time. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you very
The Vice Chancellor, sir, permit me just for 2 minutes, for the musical department to render 2 minutes, just one of his songs, 2 minutes, just music. observation, questions, and some other things. It says, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is now. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much. Yes, Professor Badaki.
Thank you so very much, our distinguished public lecturer. Just yesterday, we were chatting in the office with a colleague, and I got a message from my son, and I was upset. He asked me, what is your height? I'm bringing this because of the language, the age group thing. And I said, Professor, I don't know. I replied him, I don't know. And he said, I call yourself a professor. He said, Mommy, go and check. You should be able to know what your height is. And I didn't reply anymore. But I don't know if I'm wrong, but I tell people that for my generation, I belong to that generation we didn't talk about. I think the problem is parenting style, and I'm wondering, you know, people like reading, we don't read. So I'm wondering, do you have some kind of workshop on parenting styles? Even if it is online, people like us could learn. It's never too late. Maybe that is something you should consider doing. And I always say,